It has been a while, but welcome to SpaceEngine Exploration. So, as I said, it's been a little while. It's been nearly 3 weeks, if not somewhere around 3 weeks. I haven't actually recorded one of these in quite a while, because, well, there was a spring break, which basically it was there's a house full of kids and watching them and all that, and anyone who has kids kind of understands that things get busy when there's kids around the house. And then I had to watch over the property for a few days, and after that I got sick. I got a sore throat, probably because I spent like a few days actually cleaning the house and stuff and managed to get myself sick. I still am a little bit sick, so if I do end up like breathing in the microphone, well, that would be why. But there's no real other reasons that I've kind of been away. I tried to kind of fill the gap a little bit by making that Pluto video, and that video was kind of requested by AAV to actually make one about Pluto, and I think that video actually came out very well. I don't think I actually had any errors in it. I did in my previous ones, and I'm very happy with the way that video came out. But yeah, I would like to get right back into the flow of things and start making some videos for you guys. This is a cool looking star cluster. But wow, I have not really played this game all that much in quite a while. Normally I record these videos like twice a week, but yeah, lately it's just been pretty harsh. There's actually something I did want to talk about though. During that kind of break where I was gone, something kind of interesting happened, but it wasn't like immediate. See, recently, you might have noticed your favorite YouTubers are probably complaining about the kind of ad situation going on YouTube, where a lot of advertisers are kind of backing out of basically advertising in YouTube videos. They're just backing out of YouTube temporarily, or even permanently, some of them, because they're not big fans of their ads being shown on some of the, what would you say? I guess, really it's just content they don't want to show their ads on. It could contain things like gun violence or anything like that, and they could be taking a liberal perspective from it or something like that. I'm not going to get all political and stuff, or opinionated on any of that, but it's affected everyone on the site's advertisement revenue. But during these 3 weeks that I've been gone, I've seen a dip, of course, because, well, I haven't uploaded a video in like 3 weeks, apart from my Pluto video. But, I have not actually seen an effect by this, which is very interesting. If you go down to the bottom of the page and go to restricted mode on, most of my videos actually remain. I do swear sometimes. Some of my videos are not exactly appropriate, but those videos tend to disappear off my channel. A lot of my playlists disappear. But all of my other videos remain because I guess I kind of fit in an educational category, or kind of a science and entertainment category, not really gaming or, you know, shooters or anything like that. So a lot of my content remains pretty much untouched, which is kind of weird because I did start this channel thinking, oh yeah, I want to make, you know, just gaming videos like everyone else ever. And then I transitioned over to the space videos that I do now, and interestingly enough, doing that has kind of secured a little bit of like a financial security on YouTube. Not that I really make a lot of revenue or anything like that, but it's like, it's just very interesting that I don't seem to actually be affected by this. Why is that star so bright? The blue luminous supergiant. Oh, I have my diffraction spikes turned way up. I don't even know what's going on with these settings. These are probably settings I used for the Pluto video or something like that, but that diffraction spike was way up there. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting that because the direction I kind of chose early on with my channel kind of led to good outcomes in a way. which is kind of interesting because if you guys followed my older videos and stuff, you guys know that, you know, I wanted to try to maintain some kind of diversity, but more recently I've kind of moved to my own variety of kind of space content, like the short videos I made, like the Pluto and Andromeda one. And I'm even actually working on trying to improve those a little bit. I just recently got an art tablet, so I'm hoping I can do like some really, really cool animations and stuff like that. You know, kind of like, Veritasium's Scientium channel. I watched one of his second channel videos, and he showed this really cool thing where you could essentially kind of use a tablet, in this case, or in his case, an iPad Pro, as kind of like a whiteboard, and I kind of want to try something like that. I think that'd be very cool for some of my videos. I just don't know where to apply it exactly yet. I'm still practicing with it. I'm still trying to figure out like the methods to actually do that, what software I should use. But I think it'd be a really cool effect to include in my videos. Anyways, without further ado, it's been about 6 minutes of my rambling. Let's go ahead and get started and check out some of these suggestions. So the first suggestion is going to be coming from Mr. Star Wars. He says it's a Terra that has a lot of snow on it, along with many craters. Let's go ahead and get that ID pasted in. By the way, I am using my clicky keyboard because I don't actually have my setup properly set up right now. I've done a lot of reorganizing and moving things around, so I don't have my quiet keyboard hooked up currently, so got a little bit of clickiness in the background. So, what is this? This is a Terra. Large polar caps, but I'm not seeing any large continents currently. Interesting. There is definitely a lot of craters. You can see them in the water, in fact. There's a crater where it's kind of actually ejected some land up. See the grassy terrain because this planet does actually have life. Let's go ahead and check out the textures here. Kind of hard to tell what that is. Kind of has like the sand noise texture mapping over it. Looks like grass and something else going on here, like some kind of moss or something like that. Is almost what that looks like. Interesting. Let's see if we can find some continents on this planet. It's got like these really cool like 4 bands of like separated rings. That's really awesome looking. Look at the shadow it actually casts on the planet too. Oh, that is actually very cool. Let's see if we can get under the cloud layer here without going into the water. There we go. You can even see the effect on the water too. There's water right there. Look at that. That is pretty. And there's the rings right there. Alright, let's go ahead and zoom out here. We're on the outside of a galaxy. And like I said, let's see if we can just clear out the clouds and try to find some large continent. Let's go ahead and hit play and get this planet actually rotating. So it's got like an entire hemisphere of terrain, which is kind of interesting because I was actually talking to someone a couple days ago, and the question was brought up: why is the United States on the west side of of most maps? There are a lot of maps that are like flipped upside down, or where the United States is in the center, or whatever. There's all sorts of variations of maps, of course. But in most kind of the northern hemisphere, we've kind of adopted a map where the United States is on the west side. Well, I think the reason for this is because most people don't realize how big the Pacific Ocean actually is. It's almost an entire hemisphere of its own. I could actually show this, possibly in this game. Let's go over to Earth real quick. Which, if I make an Earth's fact video, I think that would be a very fitting little fact for the video itself. Let's go ahead and hit play real quick and get Earth rotating. So here's the United States. And look at this. Let's go ahead and disable the clouds. The entire Pacific Ocean, just kind of on the illuminated side. And if you look, big the Pacific Ocean actually is. You can hardly see any land apart from like a little bit of Australia, I think a little bit of, what is that, China? That might be Russia, and Australia. Kind of would be over here. So there's very little land over here. The Pacific Ocean is actually huge. I don't realize that because, well, most maps, square maps anyways, kind of remove a lot of the Pacific Ocean to kind of be able to, you know, fit the terrain and try to scale it properly and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the Pacific Ocean is ginormous. Compared to something like, if I hit play here, the Atlantic Ocean. There's the United States, and that's the Atlantic Ocean. Significantly smaller. Get that rotated around. Ah, here we go. Here's the Atlantic. A lot smaller than the Pacific Ocean. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people actually realize that. People probably assume they're about the same size, but the Pacific Ocean is probably 3 times bigger than the Atlantic Ocean. Anyways, with that little kind of fact out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Mr. Star Wars once again. Let's go ahead and get rid of that question mark. And here we go. Minute 2. No fancy rings this time. Oh, and that's a very pretty view of this. The Magellanic Clouds. Or is this a galaxy texture? Well, I mean, is it just a random galaxy texture? I don't think that's a Magellanic Cloud. I think I might have seen that texture before, but that's definitely not one I see very commonly. What is that? What is that galaxy over there? It kind of looks like Andromeda, but it's not. Okay, so let's see. This Terra also has lots of snow on its surface and its atmospheric color. Let's go ahead and enable clouds again. Ooh, those are really cool, like striped clouds. Along with its sunset and sunrise, looks just like it does on Earth. Oh, let me take a guess. You thought the galaxy in the back was a nebula, didn't you? No, I thought it was like the Large Magellanic Cloud or something. No, I didn't think that was a nebula. I mean, I could see how I would mistake it for one, but no, it doesn't really look like a nebula in this game, because nebulas in this game just look like volumetric clouds. So let's go ahead and fly down and check out the atmosphere. Okay, so we have a globular cluster over there. Our parenting star looks like a yellow dwarf. The temperature of this planet is relatively cold, negative 20 degrees Celsius, which makes sense. And we got kind of that clovery texture as the texture for life on this planet. Got some cool 3-dimensional clouds. And the atmosphere does look a lot like Earth, but it's also very, very foggy. It's kind of dense looking. Or like very humid looking anyways. Oh, I thought we were above the terrain. No, that was actually the cloud layer we were flying over. And here's the sunset. A little bit green. I don't think that looks exactly like Earth, but that is a very Earth-like sunset. And the sunrise, as you can imagine, is just the opposite of that. Pretty cool. Let's go over to Earth again, and let's just compare it, just for fun. Just because I'm kind of curious if I was right about saying it looks a lot more foggy than Earth does. Yeah, Earth is lacking that green tone that that other planet actually had. And as you can see, yeah, I'm gonna say it's a lot less foggy than that planet. But that was actually very similar to Earth, I must admit. to Antarctica here. I managed to get myself stuck, it looks like. Oh, there we go. Okay, so no, it does actually have that green tone. Maybe it's just where I'm looking at the sunrise from. That was actually a very Earth-like sunrise, just the atmosphere doesn't have that super thick fog like that other planet does. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Luck of the Sea. A cold desert with life that is purple, with lots of storms on it. It isn't the Milky Way, but it's just a beautiful planet. Oh, that is actually really cool looking. So it looks like we have kind of this blue atmosphere. Some really cool purple terrain, it looks like. And it's in kind of a bluish galaxy. Oh, and there is a gas giant over there. So is this actually a moon? Oh, it is. It must have like a polar orbit or something like that. That's pretty cool. And there's the parenting star, which looks like some type of white star. Let's go ahead and just touch down next to this volcano right here. And yeah, it does actually have purple life and a very vivid blue atmosphere. Look at the lava coming out of this volcano. It looks almost purple-like, and that looks... That doesn't really look like lava. That looks like something else. It's a lot more like a pale white mixed in with like orange. The lava here, that's actually going down the sides, has a really cool purple color. I assume just the way it's actually like blending in with the purple life, perhaps? Interesting. There's the auroras over there. And here is a beautiful, well-eroded, very spiky mountain range. It's taking a little bit of time to render in. I think I actually have the render time decreased for the sake of recording other videos without like frame dips and performance problems. So that's probably why the detailing is not the greatest currently. Let's go ahead and go to the graphics and double check that. This could be a little bit lower. I think decreasing that makes it load. I don't know. So maybe that will hopefully make this look a little bit better. Could just be because these are such spiky and jagged cliffs. Interesting. As you can see, we actually have multiple cloud layers as well. I think I count 3 of them. There's one here, one there, and one above it. So yeah, 3 cloud layers. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and check out the sunset on a much more vivid blue atmosphere. Much more green. And here's this beautiful galaxy in the background. The galaxy itself does not really seem to have any real interstellar dust going on, but we have a cool view of what looks like a nebula over here. Very nice. The next suggestions are from Weevilman. And could I explore GN, Z11, and IOK1? Let's go ahead and check that out. I don't really explore galaxy suggestions unless there's like a specific planet in them that you want me to visit. But I can go ahead and like fly over to them if they load and check them out. That one doesn't seem to load. I do see that Galacticon, or I think formerly Gabriel, has said that they don't load. Oops. Yeah, they don't appear to be cataloged in this game, unfortunately. Well, at least I tried. So the next suggestion is from Prathamus Pardeshi? Could you visit Voyager 358? It is in the top of the list of Earth-like planets. But please visit it, thank you. Let's see. Gabriel says that's not in the game. I don't think these IDs are anything to do with it, are they? No, unfortunately not. Can't say I didn't try at least, but I don't think it's actually cataloged in the game. That one guy says, with recent drivers, the RX 480 is fast, sometimes faster than the 1060. I don't think that's true. The 580 came out, and it's actually a decent bit faster than the 480, just due to some basically optimizations in the silicon itself. But I'm not interested in the AMD series because I did actually see some recent videos, and the encoder used for AMD is unfortunately leaving a little bit to be desired. The game crashed one moment. But yeah, the encoder is lacking a little bit per se. I really like the encoder that's built into the NVIDIA cards, and as a content creator, that's infinitely beneficial to me since I do record most of my videos using the Shadowplay encoder, not just offloading it on the CPU. Optimally, I should get a Ryzen CPU because they're apparently really, really good for on-chip encoding, like encoding via CPU because of 8 cores. I just don't have the money for that right now. YouTube doesn't really pay enough to kind of afford those kind of things, but maybe someday that might actually come to fruition. But yeah, if I can do that, then these videos would probably look a lot better, to be honest. CPU encoding definitely looks a lot better than encoding off of the hardware that's on the video cards. But I do appreciate the feedback on that. I think the 1060 is currently on the top of my list of cards I might look at. 1070 is a bit out of my price range, but I really want one of those. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Glarder, and it's an Oceania with a Terra Moon. Galactic Hun does say that Ice World system, and that's what it looks like. In fact, they look like twins almost exactly the same. Because these ice worlds do generate very similar typically. But yeah, it's a binary ice world system. It doesn't look like it's an Oceania with a Terra Moon. Orbiting around what looks like a white star that's very, very far away. Oh, it's a binary. Is that a brown dwarf? Oh, look at that. System. Oh, and it's got the nice heated band too. I love the ones that generate like this because it doesn't look like a brown dwarf. It looks like it's still like a gas giant. Well, I mean, I know a brown dwarf is a gas giant, but it still looks like it's more in a gas giant phase, like a really, really hot gas giant rather than something that is just a failed star. It's really cool. I love the ones that actually have color to them. Anyways, let's go ahead and try the next suggestion, which is from Penny Penguin. And Galactic Hun is just on top of this right now. It says this ID is not working. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, wait, that's because there's a minus sign right there. That's got to be a space. It's still not working. Oh, that's unfortunate. Go ahead and try the next one, which is from Namikaze. What would that mean? Like wave collision or something like that? Is that what that would mean? Go ahead and get rid of that. Question mark. And I think I've actually been to this system. I think it's 74 Aquari. And is there any actually... Yeah, all the planets I think are just randomly generated. I don't think these are actually cataloged in any way. I could be wrong. Oceania, which is very, very hot apparently, which makes sense, I guess. Doesn't make much sense unless it's greenhouse effect. Yes, it has a very high atmospheric pressure and very, very strong greenhouse effect. And over here we just have an ice world, which you can see the kind of splits in the ice, possibly just due to not tidal forces, but just kind of earthquakes kind of things. Sonic activity, that kind of stuff, perhaps. Not too sure. We're definitely in the Milky Way, of course, because, well, it's a catalog star. And you can see the large Magellanic Cloud over there in the background. Oh, look at that. We have a couple mountains over here. Very cool. They're capped with something, though. Interesting. That's a very cool looking view, though. Everything just looks frozen. Well, obviously it is, but that's... It looks like you just had like some snow or ice or something and just ran water over it to kind of smooth it out and make it all transparent looking. So let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Jacob Plays. And he wants me to go to the moons of Mars, Deimos and Rhea. I do believe that's how those are pronounced. Here is Deimos, it might be Deimos. Deimos or Demos. Oh. So the texture on this is actually, if you look at it, it's kind of pixelated. Like, look at that. It looks like almost like the terrain in Minecraft almost. That's very weird looking. Huh. Let's go ahead and check out the other moon. No, wait. Is Rhea a moon of Mars? I don't think it is, actually. No, that's a moon of Saturn. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Phobos is the other moon of Mars. And this almost looks like Mercury. Pretty sure I've been here before. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I did take off that texture pack because it was like 40 gigabytes. I had a texture pack that increased the resolution of all the mappings in the solar system. I did remove that. It's all vanilla now because, well, I have videos to record, and having something like that loading does not help at all with performance. But it was cool to make a video of that and just kind of show the much higher resolution textures. So let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Galactic Hun. Some life right next to the clover texture, and I think it's some kind of cabbage. Huh. I don't think I noticed that, but I don't know what... Clover with quotations. Somebody did mention what type of plant that kind of looked like, and I did actually Google it, and it did look mostly correct. I totally forgot about the name of that. That was like 20 episodes ago, so... Oh, but this is a brown dwarf. It orbits in the habitable zone of a yellow dwarf, and has 2 habitable planets and moons. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. So the planets around this brown dwarf are actually habitable? Oh, they are, because it orbits in the habitable zone of that star right there. But, I love when they do this. The tidally locked effect is just going the complete wrong direction. And facing towards the brown dwarf, of course. As you can see there, let's go ahead and turn up the ambient lighting so you guys can actually see that. See this creepy, ominous looking hurricane. And the other star, for some reason, has a polar cat facing it. Just kind of generates in this game. Ah, that is cool. Hopefully one day that'll be fixed though. But I do like the effect. Go ahead and let's check out the next suggestion, which once again is from Galactic Hun. Is there anything else really noting? 2 on the planet, moon, almost. Okay. I only see one habitable planet here. Maybe not moons. It has an asteroid moon. And this one looks like just a... Oh, wait a minute. That's a Terra. This is an Oceania. It has water life. Let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, once again from Galacticon. And like I said, I apologize if my voice cuts out or if it sounds scratchy in any way. It's because, well, I've had a sore throat. Gas giant, especially with the ambient lighting turned up. I think the diffraction spikes turned themselves up again. Because, well, the video settings. There we go. All corrected. And let's go ahead and fix the ambient lighting. There we go. Much better. Very cool effect. Anyways, this is a yellow gas giant with a debris that's in a triple star system of a white dwarf, a yellow dwarf, and a brown dwarf. Speed up time to see the ring spin around the gas giant. It also has 5 beautiful moons. The innermost actually orbits inside the debris ring, and therefore often has close encounters with asteroids. Be sure to visit all 5 moons too. I don't know if I'll do that, but let's go ahead and see what you mean by the debris ring. So I'm not really seeing the debris ring, but I do know a trick. Let's go ahead and mess with the magnitude. Let's turn down the stars. So now there's no stars in the background. And now let's turn up the planets. And there we go. Now we have a really cool view of all the moons around this gas giant. Really cool effect, right? So there's the ring of debris. A shattered planet, possibly parts coming off of this moon right here that's currently orbiting inside of it. Not really too sure, but a very, very cool effect when you turn up the magnitude of the planets. And let's go ahead and hit play. Check that out. Isn't that cool looking? Even see the shadow of the gas giant being casted on all those like moons back there. Really awesome effect. Hit F2. I think this is the gas giant in question here. And it has a cool Terra moon. I'm not going to visit these in much detail, but you can see the really awesome clouds just kind of rotating around the planet. And over there is the gas giant. Looks very cool with the planetary magnitude turned up because all the rings are actually glowing. A very awesome looking effect. So let's go ahead and check out the next one, which is a temperate Oceania. Again, you can see the multiple layers of clouds currently rotating around the planet and actually crossing paths with each other. Very cool effect. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is a warm Terra. Oh, with some fancy, I think, green water, but maybe a blue atmosphere? Or maybe vice versa. Let's go ahead and just clear this off the screen. A very nice effect. And I think this is one of the ones... No, this one is just following behind this planet we just visited. And this is a hot desert with a kind of purplish appearance to it. A little bit of purple and orange going on there. And here is the one that's actually in, or right on the outskirts of the debris ring. As you can see, its temperature I think is a lot hotter because possibly some tidal effects. I don't think that's a greenhouse effect doing that. I think that's just the stress of this planet put on this moon here. Which kind of supports the theory that it's possibly fragments of that planet being shredded up in the Roche limit of this larger planet, or rather this moon being shredded up in this planet right here. Very cool. So let's go ahead and default our magnitude. But yeah, very cool effect. Let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Grey Pit 88. It's a new, neat blue ice world overlooking the Milky Way, almost directly above the sun's location. Well, let's go ahead and check it out. And here we go. So here's the Milky Way. We are certainly above the Milky Way. And it is definitely a beautiful blue ice world. Let's go ahead and touch down. And here's the sunset. Whoosh. Kind of Earth-like, actually. Doesn't have as much red, though. A little bit more on the green side. Has a nice large moon, kind of orbiting a little bit close to it. But let's see. Well, view of the Milky Way. Let's see if we can spot the sun. And there it is right over there. There is our sun. Let's see if I can zoom in so much. What is that? NGC 55. Is that a new addition? I don't recall that being there. Let's go ahead and reselect our sun. Okay, let's just zoom in and see if we can actually spot our sun just by decreasing our field of view so much that it's like a telescopic effect. Go ahead and close that because that might crash our game. This is definitely crash the game territory. Oh, look at that. It's like moving around almost on a grid. I think that's something to do with the game and how it formats the stars and the way it does, like their kind of location and positioning, or maybe that's just an optimization thing. But there's our sun right there. It's kind of twitching around a little bit as I move the camera, but that's very cool. Let's go ahead and default our field of view and hopefully we don't crash and we're good. And things are not flickering. Fantastic. Where is this blue ice world? Probably right next to us. I am not seeing it. I think that might be it, or I'm around the moon of it, apparently. Ah, here it is. Very nice. I don't know if you guys saw that, but there was an eclipse of that much smaller moon right there. I think here comes an eclipse from the bigger moon. There's a small shadow. And there's a big shadow from the other eclipse. Very nice. And there's the large and small magellanic clouds. Let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Mr. Duck Billface. My favorite terror I've ever found. Amazingly generated continents. Check it out. Go to that question mark. And here we go. In a completely different galaxy. Oh, this is a very cool looking galaxy. Is this the Black Eye Galaxy? No, it's Hoag's object. Okay. Okay, so we have some pretty thick cloud layers going on here. Looks like multiple layers as well. Let's go ahead and just clear those out. Okay, let's go ahead and turn up the ambient lighting so we can better view these continents. So it looks like we have kind of just a... Oh, that is actually kind of cool looking. I don't really know how to explain that. I was gonna say it kind of looks like a supercontinent, but no, not really. Maybe. No, they're not really connected. It's like two just major continents and a lot of islands. It looks almost like... It's kind of a bad description to put on it, but... Kind of like the division of a supercontinent, like just it broke into two parts and separated off. I wanted to say prehistoric, but that is totally wrong. And we got some, well, it looks like treetops, and then like some of dry, deserty kind of treetops, perhaps. And those are our life textures. And then we have these 90-degree walls. Ooh, there we go. Turn on the clouds. And this would be our polar cap, as they kind of have their own set altitude, and it enforces that very strictly, as you can tell, by making like a 90-degree cliff edge. But, very cool planet, and very cool looking continents. I have to go Google up prehistoric, just to kind of get an idea what the continents look like then. Yeah, that would be a Pangaea. Pangaea was the most recent one, I think. Yeah, I think Pangaea was our most recent supercontinent. Obviously it broke up into like 7 segments. Yeah, I don't even know. Geology, it's not my strong area at all. Interesting. It's just kind of weird how it's like, I don't know. We have like these really cool stripes almost. And stuff. Almost looks like it was painted with like a paintbrush or something like that, like watercoloring or something weird like that. It was like stroked onto this world, not really like it's completely natural. It's almost like a That's cool. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is from the Interstellar Storm 4180. And it looks like he has 3 suggestions. I think I did permit this, but I could be wrong. I think he might have made a mistake in like the previous episode. He says that in the comment. So I think I did allow him to actually make 3 suggestions due to that mistake. Is it all 3? So we have a temperate terror with life. And remember to check the stars. Oh, that's right. A few suggestions ago, I totally forgot to visit the triple star system. We have a white dwarf here. The white dwarf is incredibly bright. I don't think turning down the exposure is going to help much with a white dwarf. They tend to just stay as bright as possible. See if I can get it down to kind of a blue tinted color. And now it's actually looking like a black hole. And zoom in. And look at that. That's a cool effect. If I slow down time to real time. There we go. You can see that the accretion disk is still spinning rather fast. Not as fast as some small black holes, but still spinning very fast. And you can actually see the texture of the white dwarf. White dwarfs actually have textures in this game, if you guys didn't know. And they're kind of like an overlapping map, too. Look at that. That's a really cool effect. And of course, prepare your eyes. Much brighter. But it looks like it's stealing mass from that star and forming that accretion disk. Very cool. And this is the world I think we were at just a moment ago. And I think we're in that galactic collision once again. Wrong. We're definitely in a 2-way galactic collision, that's for sure. Might be a 3-way. Don't really know. Feel free to quote me on that one though. Let's go. It's actually marine life. There's no plant life on this world. Not on the surface anyways. And in terms of terrain features, it doesn't really look like there is too much to actually see here. Interesting. Let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion. Which once again is from the Interstellar Storm. And let's go ahead and paste this in. Oh yeah, this totally is that one galaxy. We have that one just staring at us. I mean, it's kind of cool that we're just exploring many worlds in the same galaxy. I guess it's a... Where'd that planet go? It just, like, I just lost a planet for a moment, you know, just this giant object, just, you know, it's gone, just later. So this is an Oceania with some polar caps, it looks like. Pretty cool. But as I was rambling on about, it's kind of cool that we're actually exploring like the same galaxy almost every, or pretty much every episode that you suggest, and there we go, there it goes again. Just likes to vanish on us. Because it's like, you know, I go to a lot of different galaxies, but I like the consistency because it's not like I'll ever be able to actually get around to as many planets as there actually is in this galactic collision. So this is a gas giant hogging a variety of moons, 2 Oceanias, 2 deserts, and 1 ice giant. And the gas giant in question is that one right there, which I think is this one, and here we go. So this is where we're at right now. This is a scorched ice giant right over here, similar to its parent. It's likely derived of it. As you can see, it does have a large amount of thermal shift. Very hot world. Over here, flying straight through that gas giant, we have a cold desert with a nice kind of purple hue to it, amongst the brownish color. Looks pretty cool. And right here we have an Oceania that is also flickering on me for some reason. And that means the game might crash on me. Have a kind of Venusian style desert. A very, very hot greenhouse. With a very, very thick and inhospitable atmosphere. Look at that. Beautiful blue and pink color though. And through the next cloud layer. And one more cloud layer. And now we're on the scorching hot surface. 927 degrees Celsius on average. Very, very hot world. So let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion. Once again from the Interstellar Storm 4180. Let's go ahead and grab this ID. By the way, a lot of people did make suggestions on my other videos. If you're wondering why I'm not actually making it around to your suggestion, it's because I only visit suggestions on the latest episode of the series. So, yeah. So we have a temperate Terra here. A vibrant Terra. With near Earth diameter and gravity. We have a, and then the comet just kind of cuts off there. A globular cluster. It's in the same galactic collision, just kind of on the other side. You can see a lot of other collisions. A binary star system. And terrestrial life. The atmosphere is carbon dioxide and oxygen. Looks like we have some treetops here and some type of texture mixed in with some rocks. Lovely eroded hills. Clouds are enabled. Let's go ahead and clear that off our screen. And I think it's a binary system? No, it's actually a moon. Interesting. And if we go here, we can find our world. It's actually the only large moon of this gas giant. Doesn't look like there's any polar caps, even though the temperature is actually pretty cold. But a very beautiful looking planet nonetheless. Over to the night sky and check out this really cool galactic collision we got going on here. Cool when you're in a globular cluster and you can see the galaxies just kind of sitting there in the background. And if we turn off the atmosphere, there we go. Very cool looking. And it's gone again. If we go to a slightly darker portion of the planet, like right over here, we get a much cooler view of the galaxies. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Grantiford. A frozen gas giant. There's no real descriptions here. Okay, so we have a kind of oblong, I guess you would say. I really just rotate my camera in such a way that I was right next to that moon. That is just weird. But it's also eclipsing. We got this gas giant here, which kind of has an oval shape. Appearance must be close to its star. No, it's actually not. It has that shape. This does not look like the signature of the Milky Way. This is a randomly generated galaxy, perhaps? Yes, it is. Very cool looking clouds, though. Look at that. Really nice textures being used there. So there's no real description here, so I don't have too much to go off of. This is the gas giant we're at. And it has a lot of moons. a lot of moons. So most of them are just ice worlds and probably Selenas and things of that variety. And then we have this one desert that I somehow managed to pan my camera right next to. Doesn't look like much of a greenhouse effect, but it is a really cool lighting effect caused by the reflection of that gas giant right there. It's illuminated over there, and it's also illuminated over there where the sun is actually setting. It's almost like having a second daytime. Anyways, let's go ahead and actually go ahead and just clear everything off the screen, and perhaps, maybe, no guarantees, that might be the thumbnail for this video, because I think that's a really cool look. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, once again from Grantiford. And let's go ahead and paste this in. And here we go. Looks like we got a Terra with life and rings. Very faint rings though. You can kind of see them against the dark background there. I'm not sure how well it comes out in the video, but I definitely see them. See if we can get it against the galaxy. Ah, there we go. Now you can definitely see the rings. So again, no description, but it's definitely a very cool looking world. The temperature is -3 degrees Celsius, so relative to us, it's kind of cool. The winded sand texture kind of generating the terrain around here, even though it's not really sandy terrain from what I can tell. It does have the granulated, kind of noisy sand bump map effect though. Got some kind of moss there, and there's our parenting star, which looks like some type of white star perhaps? No, it's actually a yellow dwarf. Interesting. Let's go over to one of these darker patches. I don't think I landed in one. There we go. Ah, here it is. Yeah, I can't quite tell what that life texture is, but it looks like either some kind of grass or some kind of moss. And we got these kind of rounded hills, which look very cool on this world actually. The lighting for this, normally I'm not a fan of these kind of hills, but the lighting for this really kind of matches that kind of terrain. And it looks very natural. Very cool effect. Now, I've mentioned it a very long time ago, but these valleys and hills and the way the terrain generates in this game are actually incredibly large typically. So these valleys are actually much bigger than you would actually think they would be. Of course, I'm not going to bother checking the scale and actually confirming that right now, but on some of the planets when they generate a very large planet, they also make the hills very, very large, which result in kind of a weird scaling of some of the terrain features. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Derpsauce Gaming. It says, go to this planet and its moons. It is my favorite planet I have ever found because it is 528 light years from Earth and 1154 light years from the Orion Nebula and has a really nice view. Do you like my new profile picture? Is that Pluto? I think that is certainly Pluto. Don't worry, I made a video all about and entirely because of that profile picture. I guarantee that. Or I might just be lying. Not really too sure. Check out this planet. Okay, the first thing I've noted when looking at this planet is that it has a very large moon. Kind of like Earth, but also very, very close to the planet. That's kind of typical in this game. The moons like to hang out very close to the planets. But I also see Pleiades over there, and it looks all kinds of wonky and distorted. Oh, wow, did you see that? Ah, look at that. There's a galaxy in the background. M98. Interesting. That's a really cool looking planet. It looks like its temperature is negative 15 degrees, hence all the snow. And what life texture does it have? The clovery texture and something else going on there. Not sure what that is. Looks like some kind of flower. You can see like that might be some petals or something, or maybe that might be some petals. Not really too sure. Interesting. Oh, what have I done? Whoa, that was weird. And there's a volcano. Kind of an Earth-looking atmosphere. Carbon dioxide and oxygen. There is the Orion Nebula. And Barnard's Loop, looking like a question mark from the single. Where was Pleiades at? Should be off in... Nope, that direction, perhaps. Just track of everything. Oh, there it is. Let's see if we can get this at the perspective of our sun. At the Carina Nebula. And there's Barnard's Loop and Orion and all them. Where was I? It's flying way too fast, and I kind of lost track of everything there. It's Andromeda. Ah, there we go. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit. Let's locate Pleiades. There's Pleiades. And we'll use this to kind of navigate. Kind of on the side. Like so. If we can use Pleiades to kind of navigate to where our sun would be by shaping it into the kind of shape that we can see from our sun, and I think I'm getting fairly close. That's looking almost accurate. That direction, or off somewhere kind of in this direction, there should be the Carina Nebula. Oh, it's over there. That doesn't seem right. Oh well. Okay, so I think right about here I have it in about the shape of what we see from the sun. Let's see how close to the sun I actually am now. There's the sun right over there. Okay, so I was a fair bit off. Okay, no, that looks a lot more proper. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not good at star navigation. Go ahead and reselect that. Let's go over to Sol real quick. And let's bring up our fancy magnifying glass thingy. And we are currently sitting at a distance of 528 light years. So the star that it is orbiting around is right over there. Not sure if it's visible. Ah, there it goes. So we are a fair distance away. And zooming out like that caused my game to crash, so one moment. Okay, so the next suggestion is from Georgie. Let's go ahead and paste that in. Looks like we're still at the sun. My mistake. Oh, unfortunately the ID is actually not working. And if it doesn't work, here's what it looks like. Let's bring that up. I think you have clouds disabled in the game, so the hotkey for that, I think, is Shift C. So Georgie, press Shift C in the game, it'll turn back on clouds. And yeah, that's not loading. Maybe you're running a different version of the game. Make sure you're on version 0.9.8.0. And I think that is the last suggestion for this episode. Anyways, I hope to get back into uploading more regularly. I might start slowing down with this series a little bit, making it like once a week kind of thing. It's what I've been running at anyways before I kind of took that break there. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna get around to like every suggestion anymore. I might just cut off the episodes at an hour because this series does take a lot of time. It's a series I do thoroughly enjoy, but, you know, it's something that I think is just kind of drawing to a close in a way until like the game actually receives a major update. Because I've said it before, this game lacks anything really new. There's no new terrain generation, there's no new textures or anything, and things do kind of start morphing and looking the same. So I'm not going to say that I'm done doing these videos, but you know, there might be a little bit of a slowdown until like something major happens with the game, which there actually is currently a post on the SpaceEngine forum that shows a lot of cool updates involving some of the terrain generation, some of the new lighting effects, and even some completely redone nebulas. But until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.